Hi friends, how are y'all doing? Hi friends, how are y'all doing? Oh my gosh. Hi friends, let's try this again. Third time's a charm. Welcome back to my channel, Leila's Lovely Life. I'm Leila, and today I wanted to do my life update slash how did I do on my April goals video. So it's gonna be a sit and chat. I have my coffee. So let's just get started. Oh, I hope you have something to drink. So if you don't, pause the video, get yourself something, and cheers. So, life update. So if we're going to do the life update first, and then, excuse me, sorry about that, we will go over the April goals wrap up, and also I'm going to talk about a new set of challenges or routine, whatever you want to call it. So yeah. So the life update. Yesterday I posted a video about Max, and so if you haven't watched that video, we went to the beach. We went to the beach May 23rd. Then I got sick. And then unfortunately we had to put Max to sleep on June the 2nd. So that's why I haven't really given this life update video, because I wouldn't have been able to talk about it, really. Wouldn't have been able to hold a conversation with you without crying while talking about Max. I think I can do that now. So if yesterday's video was emotionally disturbing to you, I do apologize. I did put it up mainly for myself, the footage of Max, so I could watch it, because it does help to look at videos and pictures, and videos are preferable, really. I need to get an external hard drive on Amazon because I just do. So, so two main things have happened that I wanted to talk to you about. Let's talk about Max first. So on June 1st, he jumped up in the recliner in the living room. He immediately jumped back down, which is unlike him. I mean, he would do things like that, like if he had fleas or like an itch or something and it was really bothering him, he couldn't get comfortable. But he's been on flea and tick treatment and, all that kind of stuff. I really didn't think it was fleas, so I was like, that's weird. That seems like a minor thing, jumping in a recliner and then jumping down, right? So I was like, okay. So then he went and laid down under my bed, at the foot of the bed, and I had to walk over him, because sometimes he would like put himself completely under the bed with just his legs sticking out. But this time he was like half under the bed and half out. And my foot like barely brushed across the top of his belly. So imagine like this were his belly. My foot just went like this as I walked past, and he let out the worst sound I've ever heard an animal make. He was in pain. So I was like, what? I mean, is his stomach hurt? I was like, this has got to be more than a stomach ache, because that was awful. Although he was kind of a big baby. He was my baby. Excuse me. I have some cough drops my mom gave me, so let me try one of those. In case you're curious, it's this one. Which I probably shouldn't have that in my mouth while I'm talking, so I'll wait. So, I texted Mark and Kate, and I was like, Max isn't feeling good. He wasn't throwing up, he didn't have diarrhea, nothing like that. So I tried to feed him something, he didn't want to eat it. He finally did, but he didn't really want to. And so I asked Kate, should we take him to the emergency clinic when she got home, and she looked at him. She's not a vet, but she's seen a lot of, she couldn't diagnose him, of course. She was like, it's up to you. I don't know. I would probably take my animal. But I was like, it didn't seem like an emergency. He's not crying. He's not throwing up. He's just laying here, and he's not himself. I didn't try and touch his stomach again. I thought I tried to touch it the first time. So I didn't know, honestly. I was like, is he going to make it through the night? Because that was a terrible noise that he made. So I woke up in the morning. He was still alive. So we took him to the doctor, his vet. We took him to his vet and waited to be seen, even though we made an appointment. Or no, we didn't make an appointment. I think it was like walk-in. So we were there like one of the first people, sat there. The doctor came in and felt his stomach, and she was like, well, he's not like, he didn't make any noise at that point. Like, he didn't act like his stomach hurt him. So I kind of knew that something, I just had a gut feeling, but I didn't know what it was. I just thought something's wrong. So, but she did a test on his hind legs, and apparently I talked to Kate about it, and apparently the vets do this test. And what they do is they'll take their foot, like this is their foot, and they'll flip it back under and say, like, this is their foot, and dogs will like try to right their foot immediately. Well, she did that to Max, and Max just left his foot. And then he did kind of do it again. He didn't do it again. He kind of like did right it. But then she was like, that's not good. And so she did it again, and he righted it. She did it again, and he righted it. She did it again, and he left it. So she helped him put it back, and she did it again, and he left it. So she said, well, I'll be back in a minute. So then the vet tech came in and said she wants to do blood work. She wants to do x-rays. And I said, and I looked at the total, and I was like, we can't afford that. So I asked the vet tech, I said, could you go talk to the doctor and tell her we can't afford this? So she went and talked to the doctor, and the doctor said that if it were her pet, that she would start with the x-rays. And then if the x-rays were inconclusive, then she would do the blood work. So I said, okay. So they took x-rays, and I went and sat, and they said they said that if it was something obvious on the x-ray, the doctor could, like, that she could see, then I would know right away. But if it wasn't something she could see, she would have to send it off to be read. So I went out and sat in the Jeep for like an hour and a half without Max. And I finally got a hold of them, and they were like, it's going to be a little bit longer because she did have to send it off. So then I was like, okay, what do I do? So I decided to come home because because Almond was in the kennel, and I wanted to let her out. I think we had the kennel at that point. I had to come take care of the other dogs. So came back home, and I got the phone call from the doctor. So the person who read the report, the x-ray, said that something about the cells being diffused or the lines being diffused or whatever. I'm not a medical expert in any stretch, and not a veterinary or human medical specialist at all. So I can't remember exactly what they said, and I don't have a copy of the report. I should have asked for one. I should have asked for the copy of the x-ray because we paid for it, but I didn't. But the person who read the report said that they weren't sure that we would have to do more tests, but it looked like from the x-ray that he had cancer in his liver, in his spleen, in between his heart and lungs. So he also had several lipomas on his skin. He had a big lipoma on his leg. He had skin tags that were like itching him and getting longer. He had this sore on his like arm, between his like shoulder and arm, or maybe it's between his shoulder and the rest of his body. I don't know. It was somewhere over here. And I'd put stuff on it. I'd clean it. It just wouldn't heal. So, so at that point, so Max was born in 2010, and under my bed, like on January 1st, he was born. And so he was 13 and a half. He was 13 and a half and like 2 days old when we had him put to sleep. And at that point, our decision was, do we try and fight the cancer? And if so, how would we do that? And he had not been the same since Sandy died. Since Sandy was his herder. She was a herd dog. She was like part German Spitz and part, this is what I think. I never had her genetically tested, but I think she was part German Spitz and part lab. And she was probably 15 and a half years old when she passed away. But, you know, and Max was her son. So she really herded. That was her instinct. She herded Max. She was always she was always smiling. She was so happy that we accepted her and let her live in this house. She loved having kids. She loved the cats, even though they didn't like her. She loved them, and she loved tormenting them. And she loved Max, and she was his mom. She was his best friend. She was his companion, his dog companion. And he just wasn't the same after she passed away. He was so sad, and I took him out. When I would take him out for a walk, he would kind of get like, but not, it was just kind of like, oh, this is still out here? That's great. You know, his face would fall. He just wasn't the same. And he was 13 and a half years old. And I didn't want to put him through chemotherapy. I just didn't. It was everywhere. I mean, I'm sure if we had done more testing, if they had done do they do MRIs on dogs? I don't even know. But if we did more testing, I'm sure that they would find it, you know, maybe in his bones, in his brain. And they didn't. The one thing that I wish they would have done, but she didn't like poke his stomach like with a needle, or like try and draw anything out. But he didn't cry whenever she touched his stomach. So it was the weekend. It was Friday, and I thought about it. I was like, should we bring him home? And whatever made him cry, like, hopefully that was just temporary. But even though like I said, I never heard an animal make that kind of noise. And I was like, should we bring him home? Whatever if you guys watched that video, you saw he was just laying there. He looked miserable. And I thought, do I want him to lay here being miserable? Like, what kind of a life is that? And then just waiting for him to die? Like, I couldn't do that to Max. We didn't do it to Sandy. She had gone to the vet, and you guys know the story. We didn't do that to Sandy. If the vet had said, you know, whatever about Sandy, we would have. But I still felt bad that Sandy passed away in my arms. She wasn't she didn't seem to be in pain for very long. She was just that, but she was in pain for like a minute, maybe 30 seconds to a minute, bad pain. And then she died in my arms. But I didn't know. I didn't want Max to just come home and lay around until he died. So we did make the decision to have him put to sleep. And I talked to Kate about it, and she was like, Mom, they would not have done that if they believed that he was savable. They know that he's your pet, that he's your baby. If there was some way to save him, they wouldn't put to sleep a healthy pet, which did make me feel better. So we chose to have him put to sleep, and Mark got off work and Kate got off work, and we were all there in the room, and I was holding him and I was talking to him, and it was just like he went to sleep in my arms and hopefully ended up in heaven. I mean, I believe that animal souls live on, but what do I know? I'm on the physical earthly plane. I don't know what's going on in the spiritual realm because I'm not there. But, and yes, I miss him. I miss him terribly. I miss Sandy terribly. But you know what? He was born in this house. He had kids to play with. He had that big backyard to run around in. He never went hungry or thirsty a day in his life. He did either get lost or run away. We don't really know. And I thought, this is it. Even though I put posters up and talked to people like nobody had seen him, I just thought, this is it. I'm never getting my puppy back. But he did. He came back 6 days later. So I don't know what he encountered during those 6 days, but when he came back, he didn't look like would have been starving or anything. He looked okay. Anyway, so he had a good life, and he got to live with his mom his whole life. How many dogs can say that they got to live with their mom their whole life? And so he had a good life. But at the same time, I know because I choose to share my life, parts of my life on YouTube. You guys see my kids. You've seen my kids. You see Kate now. You see Mark. You've seen Mark. You get to see Max. You got to see Max and Sandy, and you get to see the cats. And so I do feel kind of bad that some of you may have been really big Max and Sandy fans, and like this is hard for you too. But I can't do YouTube and not share my life. I can't just sit in the closet and make videos, or just make videos and nobody's home. That's just not me. I'm not saying that's wrong. That's just not me. So that's what happened. We have lost both Sandy and Max in a 6-month period. And it's just been hard. Those were Kate's and Preston's childhood dogs. They were part of our life for a long time. And I don't want to live without them, but I don't have a choice. So anyway, I just wanted y'all to know about Max. Now we do have, I was not trying to replace the animals, so please, I wasn't, but I was at CVS and Kate called me and said, there's a dog at work and his owner passed away and can I bring him home? And she said he was a little dog, so we said yes. So Red is like 14 years old. He lost his human. His tongue is hanging out one side of his mouth because he's had to have his teeth pulled. This is his last home. And we can provide that for him because we are in a position to where we can. And so we said yes. And we love him. He brings a lot of joy into our life. He's just full of character. He is a character. And then Almond, as you know, was part of the litter that was born under our front porch. And you know that mom, I haven't seen her since she had the babies. I mean, I saw her before, but since she had, because I think she was homeless and she was just running the streets. So I saw her before, but I don't know what happened to her after she had, she would come into the backyard. We leave the gate open. She didn't want people to be around people at all. So who knows what kind of life she had up to that point. But she would come into the backyard after we had to move the puppies to the backyard because of the traffic in the front of our house. So we would leave the back gate open and she would come and nurse them and then she would leave. And she would go play. She wouldn't stay in the backyard with the puppies just because, and see, Sandy did stay with her puppies. But that's a story. Sandy and her puppies is a story for another time. And so she had, under our front porch, not our dog, she had 5 gray puppies, 2 black puppies, a brown puppy, and a white puppy. And I wasn't planning on keeping any of the puppies. But Almond and the brown puppy were the first ones that people were like, "Ooh, I want them." But Almond ended up not, and I'm looking over there because she's right there, not being selected for whatever reason. And so I was like, well, I guess we're going to keep her. I was drawn to her because she was white and we had just lost Sandy, but I'm not trying to replace Sandy. Sandy is irreplaceable. Sandy, she is not replaceable. There will never be another Sandy. But we did decide to keep Mark. Just has fallen in love with Almond's face. He just loves her face. He thinks she's so beautiful. So, and she loves him too. I mean, she loves everybody, but she really loves Mark. So we lost Max and Sandy, but there are so many animals that need homes, especially where I live, that it would be, I just feel like, for me personally, we have a bit of a moral responsibility. And that's why we have animals, because they need a place to live. So the other life update, why I didn't make videos for so long was because I got another chest infection. So you guys saw that we went to the beach on May 23rd. And I remember that day because I've been writing in my agenda and it wore me out. I don't know why. Maybe I was already on the verge of getting sick, but I got sick again. And it took me, I don't know, I went to the doctor on June the 20th. So it took me almost a month because I thought, well, this is bronchitis. Let me take a Mexican Z-Pack, because by that time I had another one to take, and it didn't do anything. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to go back to the doctor. So I didn't really want to go to the doctor because the doctor's all the way in town. Like, he's close to me, but he has another office that's all the way in town that they call their sick clinic. And I don't know if I had like a virus or if it was allergies. I tend to think I thought it was a virus, but then the antibiotic didn't do anything. So now I think it was allergies, because I had allergies bad for like 2 months. I was sneezing and coughing and like, so I think that it just drained down my throat and went into my lungs, caused an infection, and what I needed was antibiotic plus steroids. So that's what I did. So far this year, I've had 3 chest infections, and I hope I'm done with them. I've gained weight, even more weight, because been sitting around, because you can't do anything when you have bronchitis. And then it's been extremely hot. That's another thing. So the third life update is that I'm not getting out and doing much because of the heat. The heat index is like 118 today, and it's been like 118, and it's just too hot out there. So, I mean, if you live right near the ocean, like if you're in a condo or something, or if you live, you know, on Padre Island, I would be at the beach. But okay, so I've been talking 27 minutes about my life update. So go ahead, take a break, intermission, get yourself something to drink. We are going to talk about my April goals, and if I accomplished them. So I wrote down 11 goals. This is what I wanted to do. I wanted to make sure I got out of the house. This was for April, keep in mind. I wanted to get out of the house 2 times a week. Another goal was to look at things differently, to consciously make an effort to look at things differently. Now that could mean like situations or objects. You can look at them differently. Number 3, walk every day. Number 4, beautify the backyard. Number 5, work out muscles. Number 6, clean 1 hour every day with music. Number 7, play on Canva for 1 hour a day as my hobby. Number 8, watch 1 documentary a week. Number 9, watch 1 movie a week, because I really enjoy documentaries and I remember enjoying movies. Do taxes, so I guess I have 12. Number 10, do taxes and try to help Kate with hers as well. Number 11, arts and crafts once a week. And number 12, I wanted to rotate my jewelry. So I wrote down, I didn't write in my planner at all in April. April was a tough month. April is Preston's birthday is in April. So that right there should tell you everything you need to know. It was just a tough month. So I did get out and about twice a week, sometimes more than twice a week. I did get out and about. Look at things differently. That was a yes and a no. I didn't do it as often as I should have. I didn't walk every day. I did walk. I took Almond for a walk. It was nice in April here. It wasn't like it is right now. So, it's too hot to take Almond for a walk right now. It's too hot for her to walk on the asphalt without shoes on. And I don't think she would keep shoes on. So she does get exercise in the backyard right now. But I didn't walk. I put beautify the backyard. Well, I put up a brand new greenhouse. Did I put any plants in it? No. I don't even remember when it got put up. I'd have to look and see if I wrote it down on my planner. I didn't beautify the backyard. I also didn't work out my muscles. I did get on the bike in the back room, but that wasn't working out my muscles. Clean 1 hour every day with music. There's a check mark and an X. So yes, I did it. I didn't do it every day. Play on Canva for 1 hour a day. I played on Canva and I did enjoy it, but I didn't do it every day. Watch one documentary a week. Well, see, that's iffy because when I wrote this, I meant like on Amazon Prime or Netflix, like one of those professional documentaries. I tried to watch some. I did watch Rick Steves. I did watch one of Rick Steves' European documentaries, and I love that one. I like Rick Steves. I tried to watch another documentary, or I watched part of it with Mark about a rock star, a really awesome piano player, but I didn't finish it. Same with the movies. Like, I just couldn't, my concentration was just not there. I didn't find any movies that were engaging that I just wanted to sit down and watch. So I remember we watched Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, and that was really cute. But I didn't watch one movie a week. What I did watch on the documentary side was YouTube videos about, guess what? The Bible. I've been watching Chuck Missler learn the Bible in 24 hours. I will leave that playlist link below. I think it's very important, even if you don't like, it's just important. The Bible is just an historical book. If you don't believe, it's still fascinating. So, but that's on YouTube. It's on a YouTube channel I've been watching called Koinonia House, and so I've watched that, and I also love to watch the farm vids, and I'll watch those, and I like some of the absolute history documentaries. I will leave those linked down below, and if I forget, please remind me, because those are fun. So I think I did do the documentary week. It just wasn't how I expected it, like on Netflix or Amazon. I didn't watch a movie a week. I did my taxes and I did help Kate with hers. I didn't do any arts and crafts. I did rotate my jewelry, not completely, but I did. So, as with all of my goal videos, I tell you guys, it's better to make a goal and to only achieve even 20 to 30% of it than to make no goals at all. I didn't make any goals in May or June, and guess what? I didn't accomplish squat. Now, I have to give myself grace because April was extraordinarily hard. I got sick in May and I lost Max. So it's been another couple of rough months. Go see what that was. Cora jumped up onto the freezer. That's what that noise was. I think she must have hit. I have a whisk. I have a whisk for my washing machine. I do. Whenever the water, gets to a good amount, I will take the whisk and I will make suds because I just like the idea that the soap is evenly distributed. Like, I don't know if it does it well enough on its own. I just like to help it out. So, okay. So I have a list of things. So yeah, so April, what did I learn? I learned that planning something every day doesn't work for me. Like clean an hour for an hour every day. That does not, I never stick to that. I do end up cleaning more when I put it as one of my goals, but I don't do it every day. So, is that because I'm lazy? It's a possibility, to be honest with you. Is it because I have Hashimoto's and I have good days and bad days? That's probably the main reason that I would say. But I'm going to have to come up with a new system because it's not that I'm not completing these things because I'm not sure that they're realistic for me. So I just need to think about it, come up with a new way to make myself goals and lists and things I should do. Just come up with a new way and we'll talk about it. If you guys have any suggestions, please list it in the comments below because I would appreciate it. So I did make a list of weekly to-dos. Now I do have a home management binder and I have a weekly home blessing and I've made videos about it. But I was just like, I didn't get that out. I was just brainstorming on my own. So this is what I'm thinking about doing. So my weekly to-dos, desk, 4 rooms and a hallway. So I guess I'm meaning like the living room, dining room combo, the computer room, the kitchen, and the back room. Because Kate can do her own room. And then I can, maybe I included I don't remember. But that's what I wrote. Weekly to-dos, number 2, deep clean kitchen surfaces, clean out and inventory refrigerator. Number 3, declutter, reimagine one area. Number 4, menu plan. Number 5, change wash linens, dog toys, and beds. And I already do these things. I may not, I don't think I clean out the refrigerator and inventory it every week. I deep clean the kitchen services every week. I menu plan, in my head. I don't really write it down. And I do change and wash the sheets and the dog toys and the beds. The beds and the dog toys as they need it. Daily to-dos. Wipe down bathrooms in the morning. I'm not saying that I'm not doing these now. This is just I wrote down a list and maybe I should put these in my planner, in my agenda. Take out all the trash at night. The kitchen usually gets taken out, but I mean both bathrooms, the computer room, Kate's room. Go through mail in the afternoons, 15-minute tops. And no, it doesn't take me 15 minutes to go through the mail, but anything sitting on the desk, give it 15 minutes. Give your attention to it 15 minutes. Number 4, 15-minute drawer cleanup. And now see, this is where it gets unrealistic. Because am I really going to do that every day? But it needs probably to go somewhere. Number 5, vacuum sweep at night. And number 6, mop at night. And then I have monthly to-dos. Clean ceiling fans and light fixtures. Look through cookbooks. And these are some things I was thinking about for the season. Because it's so hot, it's best to stay inside. So I'll have a movie and popcorn night. Also, I put down baking and cooking in the morning only, and then I put muffins, quick breads, and granola. Mending sewing, I have some mending sewing I need to do. Slow reading, make bookmarks out of that week's paper. That could just be like a creative outlet because I do like to use paper. I like to feel paper. I like to tear paper. I like to cut paper. I like to write on paper. I like to color paper. I just like paper. I like to glue paper to paper. Paper is one of my favorite things. I don't know why. But I get paper. Like I get Amazon deliveries. I get CVS deliveries. I get cards. I get gifts that are wrapped in paper, like packaging. I also use things that have packaging. Like I'm eating Lucky Charms right now. I know it's junky, but I love Yunky. I love Lucky Charms. What can I do with the packaging it's cute. I love the little leprechauns. They're cute. Slow reading. This is something I didn't even know about. I didn't know slow reading was the thing. Hang on. That was Red. Red likes to sit. Red just likes to be with people. But he also likes to nap most of the day on my bed with a blanket. But it's way too high, and hopefully he never ever tries to get down on his own because he would hurt himself. So he whines, and I go in there and take him off the bed. And then sometimes he will sleep in his bed in the computer room, but he really prefers to sleep on like the couch or the recliner or the bed. Anyway, he wanted down. Want to go outside. Okay, slow reading. So this is where you just like look at the words. You like just sit there and look at the sentence. Look at a line. You don't try to go fast. It's not speed reading, it's slow reading. And it's just more, it's more like when you eat your food and you eat it slow, you feel more satisfied. Well, it's the same with reading. So I was like, I'm going to give that a try. And then I've been watching Chuck Missler and Hal Lindsey. I listen to them an hour a day. So I could do that. Like while I'm cleaning something, while I'm cooking something, I will often put on a YouTube video. And I can generally listen to those two preachers without having to look at a screen. There are some things on the screen that you don't want to miss. But, you know, if you miss them, you just have to go back and look at them again. I also put gentle movement, stretching, cardio. I'm so out of shape. That's all I can do is gentle movement. A little bit of cardio. I wrote daily food log. I thought about starting to keep a daily food log. I've never really done that, but it would be interesting to see what I eat over time and like find a way to like put it on a graph and see what I eat the most and see like how I'm feeling. So I thought about doing that. If you do that, please let me know. I put manicure and pedicure weekly. These are things that need to happen that I'm just not taking care of myself like I should. And I don't mean going to a place to get it done, although there's nothing wrong with that if it's in your budget, but I mean like doing it myself. I put clean windows and mirrors weekly, and I put vitamins and herbal teas. So it's a very informal list right now. It's just, oh, and then on the back, I did do a food inventory. And I have made most of these because I wrote down the amount of everything that I had, because I went fruit and produce shopping with Mark, and so I wrote down everything and then wrote what I could do with it. And because I wrote it down, it was in the front of my mind. I think that's why I ended up doing these things. So this was really very helpful. This exercise was very helpful. So my takeaway, I guess, from this video, I guess what I would like your takeaway to be, is that my life has changed, but it's still the same. And I forgot to mention Bud. I'm looking over there at Bud. Have I told you guys about Bud? I think I've shown him in videos, and I have told you about him, but a lot of times I will delete some of the things that I talk about. Like right now, this video is already 46 minutes. I'm like, oh, I'll talk about that again. Bud is the dog that just comes to visit us. However, this time he came on my birthday, actually. He came on Mother's Day. He came the day after Mother's Day. And he stayed a little while and went back home. Well, he came for my birthday in June. Mark and I both had our birthdays in June. And he's still here. So I kind of claim him as my dog. But he's not technically my dog. But we are, I let him stay here and like inside because it's too hot for him to go outside. And I could take him, I could load him up in my car and take him back to his house because he lives like a quarter or a half a mile that way. But he would just walk right back. So anyway, I think my computer, my phone camera is telling me it's about to run out of storage space. So I'm gonna stop talking for now. And yeah, if you guys have anything to say about what I've told you, please leave it in the comments and we'll talk in the comments. And I need to take my cough drop and I gotta stop talking. So I do want to get this video up, so I'm just gonna leave it as it is. And yep, I guess that's all I have to say. So yeah, I'll talk to you later, friends. Bye.